over 20 years of elite experience, sales experience, and 20 years training special forces in hand-to-hand combat. John has built a sales platoon into a premier DoD skill bridge program that transforms high potential transitioning service members into top-tier sales professionals. Through a rigorous 14-week training and apprenticeship model, Sales Platoon has achieved a 75% graduation rate and a 90% employment rate, with graduates earning an average starting salary of around $70,000 and many landing roles at companies like Adobe, United Rentals, and Maven. John and the Sales Platoon team have successfully placed dozens of veterans into thriving civilian careers, empowering them with the discipline, leadership, and results-driven mindset that makes veterans unstoppable in the business world. Please join me in welcoming John Renken and Sales Platoon. Throw a 1 in the chat if you're excited for this.
Thanks, man. So guys, I'm not going to do slides. I'm just going to have a conversation with you about a couple of different things. I'm going to talk. I know that Jordy was going over interviewing with you guys yesterday. So I'm going to give you kind of some of the things that I've seen in working with SkillBridge and some things that I think our veteran community needs to know. I'm going to talk about your elevator pitch. And then I'm going to also talk about a couple of other things that kind of filter in throughout this kind of topic. So I'll tell you from seeing almost all of your resumes. Like I'm looking at the group in here and I can name at least 20 or 30 of you that I've seen your resume. Okay. At least, as I'm just filtering through some of these names. Your elevator pitch needs to be very different than your resume. Okay. And I think for a lot of you in your resume, because I know what you're talking about, it's really impressive. However, the vast majority of people have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. So when somebody asks you who you are and what you do, this is your elevator. You have about 60 seconds. 60 seconds, that's it. And I can tell you this, because most people don't understand what you did at all, you need to put it in crayons to where even the Marines could read it. Okay? Like you really do need to simplify your military career. And as an E5, E6, E7, O3, you have had more leadership experience than anybody else. And when I look at you guys' resumes, I see this reflected in your language on your resume. And you're using all these really big words to talk about your experience. And because I'm one of the partners with Seven Eagle getting you guys hired, I hear it all the time. What the hell does this guy mean? What does she mean? And I'm playing interpreter for you guys. When you do this elevator pitch, you really need to boil it down to three main things. Who you are, not what you do. Who are you? Not what you did, not what you do. Who are you? Number two, what do you want to do? And I'm talking crayon language, window licker language. Okay? And then the vision about how hiring somebody like you will benefit that company. So I'm just going to pick because he's the first guy I see in my portfolio of people I can see. John Cox, what did you do in the Air Force?
Air Force terms, MAGCOM functional manager. Civilian terms, senior advisor, and physical budgetary requirement manager.
Okay, so you worked with math and money.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what kind of job are you looking for?
Risk compliance project management. Something in the finance field.
In the finance field. Okay.
Yeah.
Why would I hire you?
I have 24 years. I'm transitioning out of the Air Force after 24 years. During that time, I worked my way to being the subject matter expert for my career field for both Europe and Africa. It was a lot of policy making, creation, updating, but also a lot of risk analysis, compliance, project management, program management, portfolio management. And I'm looking at taking all of these skills into the finance sector with me. I currently have a bachelor's degree in accounting. I'm working towards my PMP, and I'm looking to start an MBA next year.
Okay. So, how long you been in SkillBridge?
About a week and 3 days.
Week and 3 days. Okay. Have you identified companies you want to work at?
Not through the SkillBridge connection with Seven Eagles, but I have reached out to community or to companies here in Charlotte.
Yeah. Jordy just wants you to get hired, preferably through one of our people, but if not, it doesn't matter. Just get hired, right?
Mhm.
I think I'm okay saying that, right, Jordy? I'm pretty sure. Is he still with us? I'm pretty sure I know Jordy well
No,
enough.
John, you're good. That's exactly it. Like, we're not going to stand in the way of anyone
Right.
getting hired. We're just here to help.
So, all right, John. So you've identified a couple of companies that potentially you would like to work for. Have you heard back from them?
I actually just had the second interview with US Bank that concluded about 15 minutes ago.
Nice. Okay, tell me about it.
It was working with what would be my immediate supervisor. I have a good feeling about it. He had a good feeling about it. Still has 3 or 4 more interviews to do before the end of the week. I should find out by the end of the week, if not beginning of next week, depending on when the HR guy is available, if I go on to the next round or not.
Okay, so this is actually perfect position. Did you have to explain your career to him?
I used a lot of civilian terms.
So
We
you
did, because he did have family in the Air Force. I was able to relate a little bit into that. His grandfather was in air traffic control. My job supported air traffic control, a little bit of it at least. So I was able to kind of tie it into that, but most of it was spent on agile project management framework, any type of root control or root cause analysis, risk controls, compliance, that type of stuff. So all the questions kind of geared more towards that role of my job.
Okay. So when he asked you who you are, tell me about yourself, what'd you say?
I was born in
Close as you
Tennessee.
can remember.
So what was that?
As close as you can remember. I don't expect verbatim.
I'll do what I can. I was born in Tennessee, raised in Missouri, joined the Air Force out of Arkansas. I joined the Air Force in August of 2001. That's when I raised my hand and said, like, okay, sign the paperwork. Well, what happened the very next month? September 11th. After that happened, I had a lot of friends and family saying, like, hey, are you still going to do this? I mean, this is like, we're going to war. And I was like, if anything, this has strengthened my resolve. Like, you give me a cause to get behind, and I will move mountains for you. Fast forward a little bit, I go through basic training. I get a job that has to do with risk analysis, tolerances, stuff like this. This is where I'm kind of getting fuzzy right now, but
Okay.
as we move through my career field or through my career, it became more risk-based and compliance-based, less on the bench. And I've spent the last 14 years doing a lot of risk analysis, compliance management, and a lot more project management during the last 4 years of my career.
Good. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. So the only thing I would change about that, just John Renken personally, right? Sounds like you did a good job.
Hope
Because
so.
I interview you guys all the time. When I ask you about, tell me who you are and about you, we're never really asking about where you were born and raised. And almost all of you guys, so this isn't a ding on you, John. Almost all you guys do that. I've conducted hundreds of interviews. Almost all you guys do it. And part of the reason is because for us in the military community, right? As we're growing through the military, it's always like, hey, where are you from? That's a part of our culture, right? Because we're all a hodgepodge from all over the nation. So we do that. So out of everything, that's the only thing I'd probably change. Okay.
Okay.
I'd be interested to see how it goes. So for you guys that are listening, your elevator pitch is that initial, you've walked in through the door virtually, and I go, John, tell me about yourself. Joseph, tell me about yourself. You want to be short, succinct, and he did this in his little spiel. Did you hear him talk about the breadth of his experience and looking forward to the next thing? And then did you hear his give me something to put my resolve around and I can move mountains? As an employer, you think I want to hear that? If I can give you purpose, you're going to do whatever I need you to do. Right? That was the best thing you did, by the way, as an employer. Because I key in on that and I go, oh, I got a guy, if I can just give him some motivation of why we do what we do, this guy will work. And you proved it by what you did. So I think that's excellent. When you guys do this elevator pitch, and notice he didn't do a ton of military talk. I mean, you have to a degree, right? But he really did do his research and break it down into civilian language. Okay? When you're interviewing, this elevator pitch is super important. I want you to focus on who you are, which he gave me, incidentally. I don't know if you modified that because of what I said, but you did that. You told me a little bit about who you are as a person. So you want to do who you are as a person, what you did, which he did very well, right? He's got a very good career. And then he didn't do this part, but he did it at the beginning accidentally, is what do you bring to my company? He did it by saying, I'll move mountains. So I know what I get there. Now, I don't know shit about the financial compliance and all that stuff. So the rest of what you said was way over my head. But I gathered what I needed to know. Okay? So it's super important that you guys do that. Do the research like he did. Figure out who it is that you're talking to. If you guys are not on Glassdoor, you can go to Glassdoor for free for a year. You can see what that company culture is. You can see if they're a veteran-friendly company. You can see if they're a minority-friendly company. So look, we got a wide assortment of people in here. I'm going to pick on Abigail Ragland. All right, so she's in nursing, so it'll be a little bit different for her. But if I asked Abigail, would you want to work with a company where you're the only female in the company?
I mean, I've done it before, military experience, but not preferably.
Not preferably. Roy Lopez, would you like to work in a company that's all women?
It wouldn't bother me none.
Yeah, you think that.
I mean,
You're the
whatever.
only male in the company.
Yeah, I mean,
None of us would really want to do that, right?
yeah, I mean,
No matter if it's black, white, Hispanic, male, female, none of that matters. All of that information is available for you guys on Glassdoor so that when you go into your interview, you already know who this company is. Now, outside of that elevator pitch, I'm going to say this. I don't know if Jordy said this yesterday or not. You are not the subservient person in the interview. And what I mean by that is you are interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. What is the company culture here? Do I get Veterans Day off? Is it a 60-hour work week expected of me? What do I need to do to get promoted in this company? I get to ask questions too. And I need to be asking questions to show me what it takes to be successful in that company. And there's a couple of questions that you guys could be asking. And this is, I tell all of our sales platoon candidates to ask this question at the end of the interview. Okay. So I'll pick on John again, but just because I don't know anything about that role, right? That's stuff that, way outside my realm. At the end of the interview, if I was talking with somebody like John, who's as educated and knowledgeable as he is, I would ask the question, John, if you were me, what should have I asked that I didn't ask? because he's pretty smart. Okay. If I'm talking with a company with really smart people who have been in that role and in that culture and in that company, they know stuff I don't know. Go ahead, John.
Would you like me to respond to that?
Yeah, sure.
Because
Go for
this
it.
is one of the things that we did talk about at the beginning and a little bit at the end. The person I interviewed with has been with the company for 20 years, worked his way up from being call center all the way up to different types of project and program management. So I asked him, like, well, what kept you there? Because definitely, like, so I've been in Charlotte for about a month and a half, and Charlotte's a major finance hub. But one
Yep.
thing I've noticed is that I got a mentor from USAA. Before that, he was at Wells Fargo. Before that, he was at this. Before that, he was at the people move around so much here. So you find someone that's been in finance for 20 years, what keeps him there? Turns out, like as he's progressing through the roles, he's finding different ways to keep himself challenged. So like then I already know, like, okay, I can grow with this company by continually challenging myself. The opportunities are there.
Yeah.
Other questions that I had were, is there anything that he knows now that he wish he knew before
Great.
he started this role? Or I originally asked him like what he started, but he started at 18 years old. So I was like, he's like, yeah, I wish I knew a lot of stuff when I was 18. But going back like 5 years ago, he said like, yeah, I wish I knew more about stakeholder engagement. I wish I knew about this aspect or that aspect. I was like, okay, cool. I'm keying in on more things that I need to know and understand about my role. And last thing was like, is there anything that he would change about the company, about the culture, anything like that? And he's like, if anything, expanding their workforce to kind of bring more people in. We didn't get into like inclusivity or anything like that. Just like he wanted to be able to spread the culture around more.
You guys, so there's a couple of things there that he brought up. You need to know the company that you're going to. Okay. And, look, I'm about to be 53. I'm a different category of people. Like I view the world differently. And I want to make sure that anybody I work with, their values align with mine. Okay. And if you're going to a company, you need to make sure that you're in an alignment with their culture and their values. You've got to make sure of that, because if you don't, what's going to happen? You're going to be miserable. And unlike the military, you can quit. So, right? And then you're out on the job search. And as some of you have seen in this group, you've been in the skill bridge for quite a while, because I hear from you guys that you have difficulties finding careers because maybe your MOS, your rate, your AFSC didn't convert. John's apparently converts. Abigail's will definitely convert, right? But not everybody. I was an 11 Bravo, so I was an infantry guy. My career didn't convert unless I wanted to be a cop. So we don't want to get into a company, and I would encourage all you guys to do this. Don't just take the first job offer just because. Right? Now, at some point you gotta just take what you got, but don't just take it because that's the first one that got offered. Make sure you guys use some of the tools at your disposal to make sure that that company culture aligns with yours. I mean, it can be everything from you're the first veteran they hire. You want to think about that. Or if it's an all male company and you're a female, an all female company and you're a male, an all white company and you're black, an all black company and you're white. Like, you guys need to evaluate all of that stuff. And literally, I won't give the company's name. We were working with a company that didn't want to give the guy off July 4th. I was like, you have to, it's the regulations. So you need to know the culture. So from elevator pitch to interview, which all takes place together, in that interview, you need to be interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. I'll share an example for all you data cyber tech guys. So there's a company in Colorado. They have a 95% retention rate. Nobody quits. And the reason they have a 95% retention rate is they pay at the top of their industry. And then they have a working policy. Here's their working policy. You are required to take vacation every year. Required. And it's paid vacation. And if you do not take your cell phone and you do not take your work computer, they pay for the vacation on top of being paid for the vacation. Then they have unlimited PTO as long as weekly you meet your metrics. Who quits that job? Anybody? Right? So wait a minute, you're going to actually pay me to take vacation and pay for my vacation as long as you don't take your work computer? I'm in. Right? Unlimited PTO. I'll have to go get the article, Deandra. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but I have the article because I used to sell benefit stuff to companies, to big companies. So is it too late for a career pivot? Right? They probably need compliance, John. So when you guys think about this, it's really important. It's really important. Are they a company? So I have a friend who owns a company, and their expectation is you shut your phone off and you go to your kid's recital. What kind of company are you guys getting into? You need to ask those questions, because those are all super important for us. And I would dare say after a 20-year career, for a lot of you, you need the break, you need the downtime. So, Monique, did I say your name right?
Yes, you did.
Great.
I think you brought up a good point because I live in Crestview, Florida, and in this area, there is, I think it's like considered 70% white. And so I have kind of thought about that, like going into job interviews. But I also feel like that would be their opportunity too, to also,
You got to know that.
yeah, because I've thought about that, but I'm like, generally everyone has been really nice on this journey. But I think sometimes also it's an opportunity for adaptability and to learn
Yeah. It's
too.
not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because you could be the catalyst to change the company. Right? Maybe there just hasn't been opportunity. I mean, if you're in a predominantly 70% white community, right? Like maybe there wasn't a lot of opportunity. So I'm not saying that they're right or wrong for that. I'm just saying we need to be asking the question, why am I the first veteran hire? Do you know that 90% of companies in America are actually under the law, short of their veteran hires? Because as a veteran, we're a protected minority class. And the companies are not in compliance with the Department of Labor for the number of veterans they're supposed to have on staff. So they might not have done anything wrong, but we need to ask the question. So I work in sales, and Monique, I'll point this at you. So 80% of everybody in sales is white over 40. Now, there's a huge problem with that. And the problem is that sales is all about building rapport. And the truth is that I'm not you. I'm not a Black female. I don't think the way you think. So if I don't have anybody on my team that's a Black female, I'm actually hurting my company. Because I'm not growing, my company's not growing. And if I want to be a company that serves all throughout whatever the sales process is, then I need a multicultural team.
And I think I would also say that the person's respect, like the values, like you said, you're 50, you said 53.
Yeah, you don't have to read.
53. and you have a specific there's specific values.
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
values like treating people with respect, integrity,
yeah.
even if a customer when they encounter that warmth, no matter what they look like, that's gonna clue them into
Absolutely.
this is a good company.
Yep. Yeah, and you'll see that. And we want to dig in on it and we want to ask questions. Why are things the way they are? And what I want to, so I'm going to tell you guys a story. I had this happen. I was telling Matt about it. So I was doing some government contracting because I was a government contract sales guy. Got asked to go to Afghanistan, and I was meeting with the vice president of Afghanistan. I've got pictures. I met with the minister of war, and I'm sitting in the Dallas airport getting ready to fly, and I am starting to get a little bit of nerves because I haven't really met people at that level, even though it's Afghanistan, right? I mean, those are high level politicians. And I started thinking about it. How many of you have briefed 06s, 05s, briefed generals, right? Do you know in the civilian world, that's the equivalent of like a senior vice president, CEO, COO, CFO? I mean, John in his field is almost like a CFO. You guys have briefed people far higher than what anybody you're going to interview with. And I hear it from a lot of you guys where you have these nerves, which is natural, but you've actually interviewed or briefed people that were of more significance than the people you're interviewing with now. Hopefully I'm the only one in the room, but anybody had their ass chewed by the Secretary of Defense? Now, those aren't fun conversations, and I've had that. It wasn't even me. I didn't even do it.
Yes, we have to get in shape.
Yeah, it was Fort Hood. I'm like, sir, I had nothing to do with this. Why am I the one receiving this? Right? But if you think about it, if you've had to brief an 05, 06, if you had to brief the Sergeant Major is like a COO in a company. There's nothing for you guys to be nervous of. We're the most qualified culture group of people in the country. And I get in trouble for saying this, not here, but people have gotten upset with me. But if you've served honorably, you should never accept less than $30 an hour. You shouldn't. I don't care what you did in the military. You did more than what 95% of our population does, 94. And that confidence is what you should be taking into this interview process. And when you do your elevator pitch, those are the kind of things you guys need to lean on. For sure, ain't nobody shot at you like other people have. They're not going to shoot at you at the company, right? For all the combat arms people in here, nobody's shooting at you. They might give you a couple of harsh words, but your platoon sergeant probably did worse than that. Really nothing to be nervous about. Now, the thing that makes it nerve-wracking for us is it's all new territory. Okay? So let's do this. Before I get into just some of the opportunities that are out there, let's do a Q&A. If you guys have questions, again, I sit through hundreds of interviews with you guys and companies. Ask me anything, except for about my age, Monique. You had your one chance.
Hey, John, how old are you? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Or Catherine, I remember you. Your name is together.
So I'll start with how old are you? Because I feel like Derek's question deserves at least a recognition.
Yeah.
My question really is, I know you've talked today and a couple weeks ago about tailoring your answers to the job that you want. What do you do when you're interviewing for a potential position that's being built that doesn't exist yet?
Oh, that's a great question.
I have one of those in an hour and I'm kind of panicking.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of different things here. So first of all, anytime you guys are stuck about anything, make ChatGPT your best friend to help you brainstorm. Okay. Not necessarily that we're going to take all of its answers, but to get it to help us think about what we should be saying here. Okay. So that's the first thing, because you won't always have Jordy around or me around or Derek around or whoever. Okay. So ChatGPT can be a great help for you. Number two, whenever a position is being built, so I'm an Army guy. You were what, in what branch?
The best one, the Navy.
The Navy, the best one. I love
Mhm.
that. Okay.
The only one
Don't
that's
let
actually
anyone tell
included
you
in the
otherwise.
Constitution. We're the only one in the Constitution for a reason. I'm just reminding people of that.
You know, that's my favorite part about the military community. We all freaking talk major crap to each other. So, what I would do is, so in the Army, I'm sure the Navy has something similar, but when we write our mission statements of how we're going to conduct an operation, one of the very first things that we do is define what the commander's intent is. So the first thing I would do with a brand new role that's being built is I would ask that interviewer and that company, what is your ultimate goal for this role? My second question would be, so I understand it's being built, which means that we don't have track records, we don't have history, but what would you define as success for this brand new role? What does that look like? I would also, because it's being built, what was it in my resume that caused you to bring me in for this interview? Because what you're trying to get them to do there is to tip their hand of why they're crafting this and what they want out of it, which is probably not in the job description. I would almost bet if you sent me the job description, the questions I'm asking you are not in there.
That's the problem, is there is no job description.
Yeah, that's
They
even
my interview is in an hour, and the CEO called me yesterday or day before, and he's like, "Hey, I just have a question. I just want to see, would this scare you?" And I was like, "No, whatever it is, no." And he asked if it would scare me to use programs like Monday to build training pipelines, and I was like, if you have time, I could geek out for an hour on all the times I've used programs like that for the NSA. What do you got? So it sounds like
you worked at the NSA. Who cares?
well,
No,
some
legitimate
people do. I don't know.
interview. You worked for the NSA. Who cares?
Well, it's I don't know. I try not to try to manage my expectations, because it sounds like they know my value and they know what my expertise.
You froze up.
But I guess I would want to make sure I'm not coming
So
in there being like, here's
let me
how I'm going to
clarify.
save your business.
Let me clarify for you. You worked for the NSA. That means you're good. There's nothing to be nervous about. The dude's just a CEO.
I'm a crippy,
I don't
a
care what you are.
CT. I don't know what in the Army they are, but we are nervous all the time.
You have nothing to be nervous about. And I will say this too. We have a habit of doing this in the military. You guys over prepare and it causes you to freeze. So sometimes just go in with your gun loaded and just be ready. You worked at the NSA. There's nothing that company's going to do or put you in that you haven't already done 10 times harder. That would be my number one piece of advice to you. You don't get to work in those kind of organizations being a dirtbag.
You also didn't tell us how old you are yet.
I did tell you. Old Monique, I'm 53, about to be. So
Still
I would
young.
definitely use ChatGPT and come up with a lot more questions. And I would be asking questions to help them define for you what they're really looking for.
Okay, I
Why are
appreciate
you
it.
creating this? How do you define success in this role that you're creating out of nothing? Chances are if you're doing training pipelines and you're creating programs, there's a monetary value tied to it. So I would ask questions like, a year from now, how much revenue do we need to see from this pipeline? that kind of thing. Robert.
Hey, John, thanks for taking my question. Mine's kind of out of left field, but what's your favorite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu like hold, and what was your favorite fight that you had?
For those of you who don't know, I used to be a pro fighter. Robert has done his background on me and spied on me, and so my favorite, I have two. From 2000 to like 2010, I was the king of leg locks. I had more leg lock victories than anybody in the world. Now I've been beaten because I've been retired for almost 15 years. So I love leg locks. And then my second favorite, maybe tied for first, is the Kimura from side mount, half guard, anywhere I can grab it from. And then what was the second part of my favorite fight? Man, there's been a couple, because I've got a couple that were really hard fights that stand out in my mind as some of my favorites. But probably when I knocked out Curtis Stout, UFC veteran, in 7 seconds and won knockout of the year in the world. So it was
That's
pretty
a good one
fight.
to pick.
Yeah. So Monique, you have another question?
I do. I was just wondering, what's your favorite sales pitch? Like
So
if
I don't like pitches because, as my students will tell you inside this group that are from you guys, I believe that sales is serving. So I try not to pitch, and I try to ask lots of questions to find out what you need and then help you solve whatever it is that you need. So my favorite sales pitch is I ask you, tell me more about that. What does that mean? How does that hurt your company? Because what I want to do is I want to solve problems, not have you buy something that may or may not help you.
that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. I love that question. Anybody else?
Hey, John, you got him at the end of the day, man.
Yeah, listen,
You know.
I run Zooms too. I know how they are.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very, very aware.
Yeah.
Hey, so guys, one of the things that I do is I take you guys, I don't only do sales, but we have 4 verticals that we work in. If you come out of a mechanical background, we have medical imaging engineers all across the nation. We're looking for Southern California right now, Sacramento or LA. We need another David Howard's on here. He's been hired. We need somebody to go with David in Washington, D.C. We need another guy in Dallas, another guy in Houston, all across the country. Here's what a medical imaging engineer is. It's where we take your mechanical skills and we teach you how to repair CAT scans and MRIs inside hospitals. So that's one of our verticals. How far from Sacramento are you, Roy? Okay, so that's one thing that we do. Obviously, I do sales, and I'm just going to give you guys a couple of examples. So we have one of our candidates that we got from you guys last year. He is now at month 14, and he has made $120,000 in 14 months in his first year. Okay, so we have what's called roofing, which is a sales / project management or project management / sales role. Roy, send me your resume right now, John at mysalesplatoon.com. I could probably have you hired by tomorrow, depending on what your MOS /rate /AFSC was. So we have sales positions all across the country. On average, our sales positions start at around 65K, or at least have the potential to do 65K. We've got some part-timers that are making 60K doing mortgages, which is a great career field because almost all of you have used the VA loan. So we partner with companies that do the VA loan. That is a sales process. And let me say this, sales is not the guy who took you at 36% when you were 18 years old and bought the Mustang that your squad leader told you not to buy. Chargers. Yeah, Chargers now. It was Mustangs when I was in. Everybody.
Chargers and Challengers everywhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, even though that is a sales process, that's not the kind of sales we do. Okay. We're working with B2B. So like we're working with bigger companies. We've worked with Verizon, Adobe, Oracle, and doing tech sales as well. So we have a couple of tech sales positions. So it sales anywhere across the country. We have remote, hybrid, and in-person sales. And you can pick of the litter of whatever you want. Okay. We also have some IT stuff, some cyber stuff. We're right now, the government shutdowns hurt us a little bit with this, but we have Robert's made it through second interview. I need to check him. Robert, did they get back with you?
Yeah, I had a follow-up with them, and then he said that there was another company. I could work on projects
that's
with
right.
them, but
I
then there's
remember.
another
You're gonna go to
company.
Patriot. Yeah.
I'm still waiting to hear back on that.
Yeah, you're going to Patriot as long as you like them. So they've already reviewed you. That's right. I
Oh,
forgot.
okay.
My
so
guy never got back to me, but it's okay.
who was that? Derek?
Derek. Yeah.
Okay, I'll follow up and find out for you, Derek. So we do have cybersecurity roles for actual cyber people. And what I mean by actual cyber people is there's nothing wrong with you taking the courses, but a lot of companies, and it's the same for project management, by the way, guys. So you have to be careful in these two fields. And then Timothy, is that you raising your hand or is that the light on your camera? I'll get to you in a second if you're raising your hand. So there's nothing wrong with taking the cyber courses, but you need to understand that just like in project management, the courses don't really mean anything. Guys like Robert could explain that to you. I'm not going to go into it all today, but we do help you guys with cybersecurity if you are actually in cybersecurity. But I don't do any of the training or certification. That's why I kind of say that. And it's the same for project management. The project management has like a 90% failure rate the first time around on their test. And I'm telling you, because I interview all you guys and I talk to all you guys and I'm in the SkillBridge network group talking to you guys, it is not, yeah, good. Did you pass it the first time around, Tim?
I did.
Nice.
I took the boot camp. I did a little bit of research beforehand, and I was motivated because if I didn't pass, I was going to be cutting it really short with the Air Force paying for it. So if I didn't pass, I might have had to pay for it all. So I was motivated to pass.
So I've talked to a lot of people who have taken that test and they say it's the hardest thing they've ever done. It's the hardest test they've ever taken. So, don't take me saying 90% fail as like you're stupid, because it's not that you're stupid. They make that test hard. However, project management jobs don't necessarily out the chute pay what you think you're going to make. So just be careful if you're doing the project management. Second hardest test, Chris says. Okay.
John, I took I'm a PMP certified person as well, and I agree with that statement. It was the hardest test I've ever taken, but I passed it first try. It's 4 hours of testing, and I think I had 10 minutes left of time.
That sounds like a Navy rating exam. That doesn't even hurt my feelings. I mean, I'm not worried about that. What's 4 hours? That's cute. That's cute.
It's the questions, because some of them, all the answers are right. It's which one is the most right.
You have to, it's based on PMI too. It's not based on what you think.
Exactly how our questions are too. The exact same way. What answer is more correct than the other?
Yep.
Freaking Navy multiple
field
choice.
that we place in, guys, is semiconductor. If you're not read in on what's happening in the semiconductor space, you should, because there's career opportunities there for everybody. Arizona, the state of Arizona has to hire 25,000 a year for the next 5 years to meet what's happening in the state of Arizona with the 3 or 4 semiconductor plants that they're standing up that should be operational by 2030. So if you're not aware, it's a big security concern for the United States because Taiwan is currently our provider for semiconductor. So if China gets a wild hair, we would be without semiconductors. So there's been this, was a bipartisan legislation passed, the CHIP Act, to stand up semiconductors. And right now we've got factories going up in New York, Idaho, Arizona, it's either North or South Carolina. I can't remember which one it is. Lots of roles. And they need everything from architects and engineers to cyber, to construction, to PMPs. I mean, everything. So if you have not done your research on that and you're kind of wondering what the next step in life is, that's something to really look at. Okay. Because that stuff like cyber, stuff like the medical imaging, that's a huge, there's 400,000 roles open right now for medical imaging and BMET type stuff. So, because nobody left that career field, and that was something that started at the end of the boomer generation. And so all those people are retiring over the next 5 to 7 years. Those numbers have to be replenished. It's a good career field. Okay. So, Tim, you had a question?
Yeah, so looking at the jobs on the Seven Eagles board and then also on Sales Platoon, looking more so in Florida, just trying to see what the travel radius, what the more about the jobs. Most of them were in the roofing, solar, project management realm.
Well, I can tell you that the project management on the roofing side is nothing like what you've been through. So, here's the project management piece of roofing. If you guys don't know this, so a roofing guy, especially in Florida, like on the coastal states, is not really sales. Hurricane runs through, your roof and your siding gets destroyed. You have a choice: either fix it or let it ruin the rest of your house. Tim, being in Tampa, probably could tell you all about this from last year. Okay. So you're not really truly selling. Tim has to get his house repaired if it was damaged by the storms. Okay. The project management piece is that I am the customer service guy between me and Tim. I'm the guy that's coordinating with the repair crews that are going to come and fix his house. I'm the guy that's doing the assessment on the damage to the roof and then getting it approved by the insurance company. And then I'm representing the company who facilitates all of that. Now, that's just one client. The expectation is you're managing between 10 and 15 clients a month. So that's the project management piece. And you really do have to be organized to do that well. And let me just tell you, we have a candidate that graduated back in April. He made $84,000 in his first 3 months doing this. Because on average, roofing pays somewhere between $3,000 and $8,000 a roof. But you've got to know how to talk to people and how to manage a project, because it is a project and you're going to be managing quite a few of them. Okay. So, Tim, with your background, I looked at your resume. That roofing would be a good fit because you're mechanical, but there's probably some other ones I could look into for you.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Yep.
I'm actually open, John. This is Chris. I don't know if somebody had their hand up. If I skipped, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're fine, dude.
Yeah,
Go for it, Chris.
I am. I have a lot of construction experience as well, and I'm PMP. I wouldn't mind getting into the roofing
Where you at?
industry. I'm in Florida. I'm in Crestview, Florida. That's the only issue. Trying to find something down here.
Yeah. How far so I'm not obviously not from Florida. How far is that from Orlando or Tampa? Where's that at?
It's near Fort Walton Beach, Destin.
Okay. Destin. Okay, cool. I know where Destin is. Yeah. Shoot me a message. Actually, you guys put out my info, right, Derek?
I didn't put it out today. No, we didn't put it out today. That was my fault.
I'll give you guys my LinkedIn and you guys can shoot me a message. Let me pop this in the chat here real quick. And you guys can just shoot me a message on LinkedIn. I do a lot of LinkedIn training for you guys. And like I said, there's like 20 or 30 of you in here I'm helping right now. So
I just put your LinkedIn in the chat already.
Oh, great, Robert.
Thanks, Roy.
You had one job, Derek. It's okay.
It's good because it's true because you're in here talking, man. I didn't have to talk this time, so
it's all right. Other questions could be anything. How'd I get to be so good looking? Whatever you need to ask me.
Well, I guess I'll ask this question. What's your beard care routine? We were talking about beards earlier.
Are we serious?
I heard you guys talking about that when I roll in. So I'm a typical military guy. My beard care routine is I wake up in the morning and I shower and I use whatever soap is in the shower.
There you go. That's the best way to do it. I like a little product myself, but that's just me,
Yeah, my product is whatever the body wash is because I don't have hair, so I only have.
Yeah, I'm right there. We're all a bunch of us are sitting like that. You see, Mr. Terry decided that he didn't want to shave his head and grow a beard, so
we can tell who the successful ones are.
Not yet.
Yeah. Hey, John. Hey, we really appreciate you coming and taking your time out out of your busy day, man. We love talking to you. And again, you guys, make sure you guys are checking. He's got quite a few jobs available on the job board, so make sure you guys are getting in there. Shoot him a message. He's super helpful. He will steer you in the right direction. He's here to help, man. And we really do appreciate it, John. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, anything you guys need, hit me up. Even if I didn't mention a job career for you, I would still connect with me because you guys need to be building your network.
Hey, John, I sent you a connect and a message. It's Chris.
All right, great. I'll take a look at it here in a minute.
Yes, sir.